Thank you very much, Kathy, and good evening. Let's start here this evening with the Statistics South Africa releasing unemployment data tomorrow. And ahead of that, we look at the revitalization of the township economy, which is seen as a vital economic strategy to help curb South Africa's high unemployment and inequality levels. And while policymakers and large businesses are sharpening their understanding of township realities, young people out in Daveyton are finding their own ways to create employment opportunities. Newzroom Afrika's Ntokozo Khumalo has more on this story.
Daveyton in the East Rand of Johannesburg is home to multiple actors, musicians, DJs and event brands. And 20 years later, it's still celebrated for its hit youth series, Yizo Yizo. Like many South African townships, Vuta also struggles with high unemployment rates. But this is not dampening the entrepreneurial spirit, with the youth refusing to remain idle. Bongani Dube, co-founder of the Purposeful Life Entrepreneurship Center in Daveyton, says instead they are using their talents and skills to fill gaps in the markets within their own communities.
We saw a need in the township where a lot of the youth are there, but they need guidance. A lot of them don't have money to go to universities. A lot of them don't have money to go to colleges, yet they have entrepreneurial skill, yet they've got so much to offer.
Brian Dubazana is a serial community entrepreneur who collaborates with other like-minded individuals in business. He recently launched the Daveyton Heritage Bike Tour, an excursion that attracts both South Africans and foreign tourists.
Cycling tours are good for health, cycling tours are good for history, cycling tours are good for everyone who loves to know about history and the sustainability of the township. Remember, tours are important because talking about the history of a township, that on its own, it's an economy.
Dube says their entrepreneurship center is built for locals like Dubazana.
We introduce an entrepreneurship development course. It's a month, they just train the month, but more practical, where part of it we visit some of the businesses in Daveyton. We visit some of the successful entrepreneurs within Daveyton. And then after a month of training in class, then we mentor them.
This is also important for those on the entrepreneurial journey to feed and raise their own families.
It's been 10 years.
Dube concludes that although the township economy is largely seen as informal, it is an important part of the national economy as it feeds into other large businesses and assists people to remain self-sustainable.
There might not be factored maybe within the economy of the country or operating, within the environment which is prescribed as formal by the government. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of money within that economy, and that's the money that is pushing growth within families. That's the money that is feeding the community. That is the money that is preventing poverty.
With unemployment currently sitting over 34% and more than half of the youth under the age of 35 without jobs, supporting young entrepreneurs in the township is essential, especially considering that the township economy is estimated to account for as much as 6% of GDP. Investec has also estimated that it accounts for about 17% of the country's total employment. Focusing on Kasi entrepreneurs puts the spotlight on how informality can activate businesses and local economic growth. And the entrepreneurs here are ready to engage with governments and big business alike to find sustainable solutions. For Newzroom Afrika, Channel 405, I'm Ntokozo Khumalo in Daveyton in the East Rand of Johannesburg.